Hello everyone, welcome back to Governor Rides. Today we're going to be doing another one of those motorbikes and barbecue segments. Please forgive the breaks in continuity. We had to shoot this over the period of 7 or 8 days, so there's some costume changes, there were some temperature issues, we had to do it quick, and then we had to stop to do some other things, so forgive that. But anyway, it's coming up right after this. So I was on Facebook recently and it just popped up in my feed, these lights here from Eagle Lights. Now I knew Eagle Lights as a company, I'd done some turn signals in the past on my Heritage, so sort of looked around a bit. I saw some Hogworks ones that I'd looked at maybe 6 months ago, but I wasn't keen on the insert they had, but I like the way that Eagle Lights just have the one piece. I think it's a little bit more lower profile. So I dug around on YouTube and see what I could come up with. What I came across was a guy called Roy's Moto Adventures. He did a full install video of these lights. So what I'm going to do is I'm not actually going to do the install video. Obviously you see the lights are on, but I'm going to link to his video for two reasons. One, because it's a good video. Secondly, if you buy these lights through his channel, which is the way I did it, you get a discount as well, so nice to be able to pass those on to you. So once I show you a quick rundown of how the lights went on, what we'll do is we'll move on to the barbecue segment of the video. This is very slow gaining traction, so we may only do a couple, 2 or 3 of these types of videos, but we just thought it'd be fun to share this and some cooking videos with you. So let's move on to the next segment. So there are some very small differences between his install and mine, and that's because I have up here the LumiPro like windshield lights. So I already added something else to the turn signal circuit. So basically what we've got here is we've got a Y splitter which splits off as it comes in from the bike into this Y splitter. This goes off to the turn signals. This splits off here, this is the power from the bike. This goes off to the turn signals, and this goes up to these LumiPro lights. So what I've done is, I have added these lowers here. So we need another Y splitter, and that is going to go basically into the circuit. So here's the power from the bike to the turn signals. It breaks out, and it has the same connection that then splits with the Y splitter that comes with these lower fairing lights. So you're just going to have 2 Y splitters here, basically one feeding into the other. This is going off to the turn signals, and this one here is splitting off and going down to the fairing light, lower fairing lights. Once you see it, it'll make perfect sense. If you follow his install video, you can't go wrong. It's a good video. So now, as you can see, we've powered it up. We just have a little cable tying to do here, and then to cable tie the wires down to the lights on this side. I did this side already. I just attached it to another cable that was already there. All of this is very, very simple. So what you can see here is we've got the LumiPro lights up here. We've got the regular passing lamps. We've got our turn signals, and we've got these new lower fairing lights, which I really like. Very nice. These are from Eagle Lights. I looked at some Hogworks ones, but they had another set inside. Now, yeah, all right, it was extra visibility, but I just felt it was a little bit clunky. I like the single lower profile look. So now what we're going to do is we're going to I'll just put the hazards on, that way you'll see all of the flashes. So there you go. These are the LumiPro ones that I did probably about 6 weeks ago. Check out the video on those if you would like to look at how you install those. But here, as you can see, everything is all connected and in sync with each other. I did notice on his video that somebody had commented that they were out of sync and like for a number of seconds. I can tell you that we are not experiencing that, so that's unfortunate for that guy. But there are no issues. This is obviously, as you can see, is syncing up pretty well. I just put some new Hogworks smoked covers on here, just because the other ones that were on there, I don't even know what brand they were, had broken, the tabs had broken, so it was time to replace them. So as you can see, that's the front end, nice and visible. Now you can see the lights. We're going to take you over to the barbecue pit, and that's going on outside. Hey guys, welcome back to our barbecue side of the channel. Today we're going to be doing a pork shoulder, and we're going to be doing it over charcoal. Last time we put a video up, we did it on the smoker. Today's the charcoal. We're doing Royal Oak charcoal briquettes, and we're doing it starting off with the chimney, like that. I'm sure you've all seen that before. The pork shoulder is not going to be pulled pork. This is going to be more of a kind of a sliceable pork roast. We'll see how that comes out. Today's seasoning we're going to be using is the Holy Voodoo from Meat Church Barbecue. And like every good barbecue session, it is always best accompanied with a beer. Today, I'm choosing the New Glarus Brewing Company Totally Naked. They're not sponsoring this video, it's just nice to have a beer while we're doing it. So we've dumped the chimney out, and what we're doing here is we're doing like a half and half. We've got all the coals on this side. It's going to be our hot side. On this side, no coals, so this is going to be our cool side. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put a quick sear on this side and then bring the meat over to this side so it can just cook naturally, you know, kind of like an oven. Basically, this is a charcoal oven. All right, so the meat is prepared. We've got the Holy Voodoo seasoning on it, and we used a binder of brown spicy mustard. Normally I don't use a binder, but I wanted to get a little bit more flavor on this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let that sit. We're going to get a nice little bit of a sear on it. We're going to flip it around, sear it on all the sides, then move it over to the cool side of the grill. So we'll be back very shortly. Okay, we've got a nice bit of color on here. What we're going to do is we're going to move it over to the cool side, put the lid on, come back and check it in about an hour. Okay, so we're just checking this now. As I said before, we're not doing a low and slow like a pork shoulder. Right now we're at 142 right there. Now for pork, we can be a little bit on the pink side, but I do like mine cooked most of the way through because I think it's more tender. The thermometer stuck there. So 160 there, 160. So what I'm going to do, I think now, is I'm going to take this and wrap it. I'm just going to tenderize it a little bit. And then what I'll do is after we've wrapped it, probably give it a half an hour and then unwrap it and just drop it straight on the coals to get that final sear. We are looking for flavor here as well as tenderness. So we're sitting around 150 as an average. What I did forget to say is that we've really closed down the taps, barely open at the bottom and just barely close at the top. We wanted to keep that heat under control. We don't want it flaring up. We don't want it going too dry. So right now I'm shutting it down completely, and I'm going to turn the holes to the back. Now, as you know, if you're a charcoal griller, if you want to put your holes over your meat, you get a lot more of a flow through of the heat. I don't want that right now, so that's going to the back. All right, so the pork is now wrapped and back on the grill. We're still going to keep it on the cool side of the grill. We're just going to let it sit wrapped for about, I don't know, 35 minutes. I want to make sure it's nice and juicy and tender inside. We're going to pull it off. We're going to do a quick sear back on the hot side again, and we're going to call it good. All right, everyone. This is the finished pork shoulder. Now, again, I want to stress that this was not a low and slow cook. This is not a low and slow charcoal setup either. There are other ways of doing that. There are water baths, that's a snake method of cooking. This is not what this was all about. This was like using your charcoal as a conventional oven, basically just to get that flavor, to get that nice cook, ready to serve as if you were making a Sunday roast. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put it on a plate, take it inside, and I think the key to this is going to be the rest. So we're going to let this rest for a while, let everything relax, let the juices start to flow back through the meat again, and then we'll carve it. All right, everyone, welcome back. We have rested this beautiful piece of meat, and I'm going to use my hands because it's just my wife and I eating. I'm going to carve this up. Now, as I said, this is done like a roast, not like a low and slow pulled pork or anything like that. So we're just going to carve it like it was your favorite Sunday roast. We'll see how it looks. Lovely and tender, look at that, wow. There's quite a bit of fat there we'll get through first. But look at that beautiful meat. Now, you might like it a little pinker than this. I'm kind of old school, I like my pork cooked. And when I say that, I like it 165. Now, FDA says 165. You do it however you do it. You know what the saying is, you do you. But we don't want to get in trouble with the thermometer police either. There we go. This is coming apart. Nice and juicy and tender. There's a lovely little pool of juice right here. You see that? Gorgeous. For me, I think the key is in the rest. We didn't add any moisture to it. We controlled the heat. Tried to keep the heat around 400 maximum. This did actually go for, if I have to think about it now, 3, 4, it's probably an hour and a half. You know, how long would you do your oven roast? Same thing, but you get that charcoal flavor doing it this way. We're no experts at this by any means. We just know what we like, just as you do. And if we serve this up at a family gathering, no one's going to turn their nose up. So anyway, there you go. That was our charcoal roast pork. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the little bike segment before that. So of course, you've got to taste test it, right? Just take a nice little end piece there. Lovely and tender. That meat church seasoning, which is the Holy Voodoo, has a nice little kick to it. Nice flavor. It does taste like your grandma's Sunday roast. That's the sort of effect we were going for. Try it out. Put a binder on, put your seasoning on, fire up the charcoal grill, have fun. So if you did like this segment where we do a little bit of bikes and barbecue, do give us a thumbs up. We always appreciate it when you do that. We always appreciate your likes and your comments. As always, we appreciate you more than anything. So thank you very much for watching. Thanks to Steady Kelly on the camera. We will see you next time. Take care of yourselves, and if you're riding, ride well. Cheers.